Hi, and today I'm really excited to be here with Maria Wilhelmsson from Vox Impact. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Melita.
So I've known Maria for a while because she's a bit of a pioneer in our part of the world and really helping people with their voice, their presentations, and their presence. And I won't tell you too much because I'll let Maria tell you all about that herself. So Maria, how did you get to go into that part of business? It's not something that I see a lot of people in that area.
Yeah, it started long ago, actually, when I was young, really young, because I always did a lot of singing and theater as well, and even spent a few years studying only music and performance. And then, as I decided to go into a proper career and profession by studying business and languages, I kept having this dream that one day I'll be able to come back to the things that I really care about. I just wasn't sure how it was going to happen. So that is one part of it. This is something that has been with me for a very, very long time, and is something important to me. Then when I started to work in business, I fairly soon noticed that there were so many clever people, colleagues or clients, that had lots of experience, that had wonderful ideas, and who were really smart. And then in situations where it mattered, where the stakes were high, they were not able to get their ideas across, or to be taken as seriously as they deserved to be. And I thought it was such a shame that there tend to be so many people, and all of us now and then, that we let ourselves down. We don't do ourselves justice in presentations or in meetings because nerves come in between, or because we simply haven't practiced how to do it in a good way. So that's when I started to realize maybe that could be a link here, where I could bring in the skills and the experience that I have from my previous life and create something good out of it. And it took a while before it really happened. So I worked in business for 15 years in marketing and business development and sales and consultancy. And then it was actually when I had my first child that I realized I didn't want to go back to the same kind of work, being on the road all the time. So that was probably the little kick in the behind that I needed to get going and think seriously about how can I bring these skills or these ideas to the business population in a way that I can make a living out of it. So
Mhm.
that's how it started, and that's now 10 years ago.
I love that you always felt connected to your dream, and I we've talked about this in previous episodes of the show where you know often we don't have this. It's our passion isn't necessarily clear, or how we can bring that passion into the marketplace isn't always clear. We have to kind of go through life, keep learning, keep growing, keep your eyes and ears open, and then when the time is right, we can then start to move on that opportunity. And I think so often for us women, it's when we the point where we have children, and it's a time where you have to reinvent your life anyway. So then that's where your mindset is, and the way your brain is thinking is like, well, how am I going to reinvent my life? And often at that point we realize, and certainly it was the case for me, so I don't want to just do anything. I want to do something meaningful. Now I've got less time and more like different priorities. I want to make sure that the time I am spending working is making a difference, and it's something that I really love and enjoy. And it's interesting that you had that same experience.
Yeah, and to build on that, sometimes we are so fixed about our idea of what our passion is. So for me, if you would have asked me, I said, no, my passion is to sing. I want to be a singer and sing in front of an audience. And now what I'm doing has some parts of that, and it's still quite different. And to me, it's very fulfilling and it's very enjoyable. But that thing is not always easy to see, to say it doesn't have to be 100% what I think is my passion. I can adapt it, I can add things, I can take some things off and create something that is new.
Yeah. And I love how what you've created is yours. It's so unique to you and your experiences and your passions and talents, and you've brought all of that together in something that's uniquely you, and stuck with it. So we've known each other for several years now, and in that time I've seen lots of people come and go. I see lots of people do something for a year or so and then think, oh, that's not working, I'm going to give up on that and move to something else, or I'm going to bolt this in. And you haven't. You've really stayed true to your brand, and I think that's built a lot of credibility. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Yes, probably. And one of the reasons why I've managed to stay true to this idea and to create and continue to build my brand is because I quite early on spotted a strong interest in what I was doing.
Mm.
So I had encouragement, I had people being curious about it. And then by word of mouth, it kept building itself in a way that was always encouraging, not always as fast as I wanted it to be, but it's something that kept me going for sure.
Yeah, and I think you've really spotted a real need in the marketplace. And my background is in coaching, communications, and I used to coach a lot of leaders in the banking industry to communicate better and with more presence. And it was a huge, for some people, they're more natural at speaking up, but it doesn't mean they did it well. Their ideas very often, they were the loudest in the room, but they weren't the most impactful by a long shot very often. And then you had the others that had these brilliant ideas but didn't have the confidence or courage to speak up in a way that did justice to those ideas, as you said. So I think matched your talent to a real strong need, and that's, I think, it's always got to be a winning combination.
Hmm.
So we were talking a little bit before we started, and something you said was really interesting. So I work with female entrepreneurs and leaders, and this idea, this confidence is a big issue. And I was interested to hear that with your work, that it's not just a female issue. I think we're often led to believe that it's that confidence and a lack of confidence is a female issue, and imposter syndrome is a female issue more with men. And you were saying absolutely not. That's not the case at all.
Yeah, that's true. I think we tend probably to believe, all of us, that everyone else is a lot more confident than me. And as women, it's possible that we talk more about it. In my experience, I have just as many women as men as women coming to me saying, I don't feel confident, I need to build my confidence, or people tell me that I don't look and sound confident. So it's really something that goes across genders, across experiences.
Yeah, and that's, I love that point you brought up, that it's, we all have a tendency to think everyone is so much better than us. They're so much more experienced. They have so much more opportunity, and they kind of raise the other person up and put themselves down. When in fact the reality is we're all in the same boat, really. It just doesn't. We don't always talk about these things because it doesn't feel comfortable to say, oh, I don't feel like I can do this job that's right in front of me right now. It's not the kind of thing you want to say. But we can certainly take steps to learn and grow and build that confidence. So do you think that in building your voice you build your confidence, or is it the other way around, or how does that work, do you think?
I think it works both ways. So, for example, when you talk about something that you care deeply about and that you know something about, your voice is going to sound more confident because you're feeling more confident at that moment. And vice versa, if you practice your voice so that you know, well, my voice is going to carry, it is going to be rich and pleasant to listen to, then you're going to feel more comfortable and confident when you have to speak up in public next time. So I always like to work on both ways because, as you say, confidence is something that we build. You can't just sit home and wish that in 5 years from now, when I'm more confident, I'm going to do all these things that I'm longing for. It is by trying, by practicing, by testing out, and succeeding, or at least succeeding partially, time after time, that you build your confidence. So you just have to throw yourself into it, and that way you will get more confident. So that is the building the inside out confidence. While you're waiting for that to happen, because right, this can take years, because you need all these opportunities to practice and the positive feedback.
I was
You
just
can
about to
work with
ask
the
you, how do you step out there and build your confidence if you don't have confidence? It's
yeah,
that
right. You will
catch-22.
have to start with something really small. So of all these scary things, all the scary contexts that I could imagine speaking in public, what is the least scary one? Is it to say thank you, hold a little thank you speech to a colleague who is leaving, for example? You don't have to aim for a TED talk the first thing you do, but find the incremental steps and
Yeah.
then celebrate when it goes well. And it
Yeah.
is going to go well a lot of the times. Yeah.
I think that part's really important, isn't it? Having the recognition that you've made progress and
Mhm.
just taking those baby steps, one thing at a time. As we would teach our children, we don't go and tell them when they're starting to run, hey, go and enter a marathon.
Right.
We totally celebrate these little baby steps that they take, and we need to do the same thing for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then the other part with to build the outside in, that is many of the things that I coach people on, which is how you can hold yourself in a way, hold and carry yourself in a way that makes you look more confident, how you can use your voice and the way you speak in a way that makes you sound more confident. When you do these things, even if you don't feel confident inside from the beginning, by doing it, you're sending feedback to your own system that everything is fine, I'm calm, I'm not feeling threatened, and that will make you feel more confident.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, they reinforce each other.
Yeah, exactly. And breathe.
And breathe, yes.
I'm always telling my mentees at Toastmasters and TEDx that um, just to remember, no one else can see how you feel, and we all feel like we've got butterflies and jelly legs and all of this kind of thing. No one else can see that at all, and the more you get comfortable with this feeling of being uncomfortable, the more you just don't pay any attention to that, and you can focus on your message and focus on appearing confident and building your confidence step by step.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally human to be nervous when you're standing in front of people, and everyone is affected to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't, then you're kind of a psychopath. You want to, I mean, everyone cares about doing a good job, so that's always going to be a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think as soon as you can accept that everyone feels that way and it's okay,
Mm,
as you say, it's just human, but we just need to get on with it anyway.
yeah,
Bit of tough love for ourselves.
exactly.
So in building your confidence and communication skills, are there any tips? Like I hear a lot of people saying fake it till you make it, anything like that that would help people. So if there's someone listening and they've got a big presentation next week, what could they be doing between now and then to help build that confidence?
Practice, practice, and practice,
Yeah.
and asking for feedback. So ask a friend or somebody you trust to watch you and listen to you and tell you what's already working well and what you could do to make it more effective next time.
Yeah.
And you can film yourself with your smartphone. It's so easy to do it now that there's no excuse apart from the discomfort in watching it for not doing it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do the same. I used to record myself on Zoom over and over and over and over. And I started out with a transcript as well. I had a transcript that would come up, and so, or an auto prompt, so that I didn't have to worry about what I was saying. But then when I watched those back, it didn't look natural. So then I started bit by bit to build my confidence to speak without a script, and maybe just have a couple of post-it notes with the key points so I didn't go totally off tangent. But it was just, yeah, it was all practice.
Yeah.
And I'd like to mention Toastmasters as well, if people are looking for a way to practice and get feedback. Because I remember when I was working in corporate and I wanted to improve my presentation skills, I asked some colleagues, oh, can you give me some feedback? And they were like, yeah, it was nice. yeah, but what could I change? Well, I don't know. No, I mean, nobody fell asleep. It's like, right. I kind of wanted a bit more than that, but it's sometimes the people you're asking, they don't know what they're looking for either. As long, if you're not awful, then it's quite difficult to get that feedback. But somewhere like Toastmasters, you get proper professional feedback and evaluations as part of the process, and it's really so reasonable and a great networking opportunity for all business people too.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Toastmasters is a great place to go to get regular practice and to build a network and support as well, and to have a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I love the stories. Being Welsh, I'm all about stories, and I go and you just never know what people are going to share. I love it. So, Maria, is there any additional advice you'd like to share with women out there on how to feel confident in or build their business, what they could really do to help them reach their goals? And one thing I think I wanted to point out that I didn't already is that you were saying things always take longer than you think. So I think that's already a great nugget that you shared, because it's so true. We think, yeah, I'll do this, and I'm going to have 1 million clients, and it doesn't happen that way. Everything takes longer than you think, and you've just got to stay focused on your passion, your vision, and keep taking those baby steps and congratulating yourself along the way. But apart from that one that you shared earlier, what else would you say to people?
Yeah, I have three different things that I would like to share. And the first one is to find your niche. What is it that makes you as a person or your services or your products really special? And go for that and stay with it and not get tempted to say, I could also do this, I could also do that in case this thing doesn't work out. So finding your niche. And then to surround yourself with great people. People who encourage you. Sometimes you need a mood boost. People who are brave or think bigger than you do. Uh, Experts in different fields, if it's in technical, working with your website, or doing the finances, or any other type of advice that you need. Build your network so that you have access to all these people, and some of it may be people that you hire, and others are just people who are there for you to bounce ideas with. This is something that I wish I had done more consciously already from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same. In my first business, looking back, it could have been so different if I had built my network differently. So I had a great network, but I had more of a supportive network for me,
Mhm.
and also invested in myself and getting some additional help. I think that would have made a huge difference. And that's what I'm determined to bring to women right now. So your third point.
Yeah, and there is value in having gone through this journey and learned yourself by mistake, trial and error. I think there's a huge value in it. So the question is more, how much time and money do you have to spend on the way?
And
I
again, that could be
doing that.
incremental too. Like
Yeah.
with building your confidence, like invest a small amount in getting a coach to help you with one specific thing, or to help you to move through what your current challenge for the next 3 months, or
Mm,
and then bit by bit, as you build the confidence in investing in yourself and getting results, because
mm,
that's a big lesson we have to learn as well.
yeah.
And as we get to that next stage, and then we have more income and freedom to play with as well. So I think that hiring people and getting support in can also be incremental. We don't have to go for like a $10,000 a month coach straight away from day one. We can go for someone that's just going to help us through that next stage, and we can upgrade our coaches as we go.
Yeah. And another thing that I think is important for women is to not only stay within a female support network.
Mm.
When I started off, for example, I thought, or maybe it was because I felt more comfortable that way, that my services would be more interesting for women. And it turns out it's half half. So you may be limiting yourself, or you may become too narrow-minded in your thinking and in your ambition and everything if you only surround yourself by women.
Yeah.
So make sure that you have a good mix in there.
Yeah, exactly. And diversity in the workplace can really help by bringing to a project or a company all these different views and perspectives. And you're right, we need that for ourselves as well. And I know within my business network, when I present myself to men, the questions they come up with are always very different to the questions a woman would come up with. And it gives you a more well-rounded view of your offer and what you're doing and yourself as well. It's very valuable.
Yeah, and some very tangible things such as what type of language do you use in your marketing? Is it a very feminine language? And if it is, does it serve your purpose, or do you need to balance it more?
Yeah, exactly. It all comes down to your vision, your values, your branding, and getting that foundation right from the beginning. And it can evolve over time, because I think where we start, is never where we end up. And I've said this several times on this podcast, I know, but it's as we learn and grow and build our confidence, so does our vision of possibility grows too. Suddenly you think, oh, I thought I could just do this little thing here, but actually I'm ready to take that next step and work with the bigger clients, or put more of myself out there into different projects and offers. And then it's what makes this world of entrepreneurship so addictive.
Yeah. And this takes us to my third point and the last one here in terms of advice, because I was asking myself if I could give myself of 10 years ago a piece of advice for starting my business, it would be bold, or be bolder.
Oh, I love that.
So say yes to things, even if you're not 100% sure how you're going to do it, how you're going to deliver it. Make your offering bigger. So in my case, I started offering half-day workshops because I wasn't sure I had stuff enough to fill more time. I said, no, why didn't I start doing 2-day workshops straight away like I'm doing now? So being bolder in everything, being bolder in the type of clients that you approach and how you sell yourself. And something that is very helpful in doing that is, again, spending time surrounding yourself with people who have that bolder mindset, not the ones that you're dragging you down saying, oh, can you really do that? But people say, yes, of course you can.
Yeah, why are you
and
not
I'm going to support you.
Yeah, exactly. That's just gold just there in that alone. And I think it's so important particularly for women who often we don't like to put ourselves out there. It's not something that we're always encouraged to do growing up. Yeah, go bigger. I think it was more like, oh no, don't do that, you might fall and hurt yourself. We're kind of conditioned to a certain extent to think smaller and stay within the realm of possibility, but that's not going to serve us in that quest to build our confidence and really step into our true potential. And the more you do that, the more you realize what you're really able to do. It's so empowering and so exciting. Fantastic. Maria, you have been brilliant. You have shared so much with the audience. I know everyone's like, pages are on fire. They've been writing so fast, I'm sure. And if they haven't been, you need to go back and re-listen. Thank you so much. If anyone out there would like to get in touch with you, what's the best way they can do that?
They can find me on LinkedIn and either connect with me there or follow me there. I regularly post brief videos with good advice, free videos.
And your videos are
great one. Yeah.
I love following your videos. They're great.
Yeah, this week I'm just posting a 3-part tips on how to run more effective and enjoyable video meetings.
Brilliant advice.
Yeah. And also visiting my website. I think you'll provide the...
I'll put all the links down below.
Yeah, voximpact.com. And I think that's enough.
Yes, and Vox Impact, it's a very unique name, so even just typing that into Google, I'm sure they'll find you easy enough. So I'll put all the links below. As I say, thank you so much for your time, Maria. You have been brilliant. I've learned a lot from our discussion, so thank you, and have a great week.
Hey, thank you, Melita. Thank you for inviting me, and a great week to everyone else.